do. So really exciting stuff going on. So here's what's going on right off the top, right off the bat. First of all, we've been picking really good coins for a while and getting in and out of really great positions with them while it's at the right time. But then for the holds, seeing that they come back around exactly where we wanted them just at a later date. So we're clearing some really good stuff here in both places where we watch this stuff. We like to run it through the client, but also we're keeping up with the list of things through the browser as well. So thank you, Binance, for giving us two different great options there. So first of all, this is the first that the volume has been picking up any traction on Bitcoin for about a day and a half. So it dropped. The most what we saw it when there was a big spike and a drop was at around 4,100, and we saw its 24-hour volume at $233 million measured in USDT equals Tether, which I think is still a good way to trade back and forth. A lot of people were worried about Tether and whether it was a safe thing or a scam coin, and they showed that it was actually backed with dollars. They didn't really have to, but they did so, and it was true. It was true. But I believe it's Bitrex. If it's not Bitfinex, I think it is Bitfinex actually. They all sound so. There's BitMEX, Bitrex, Bitfinex. Just put Bit in the name and go X, and it's one of those. But they're the ones that issue Tether. Then people had an issue with kind of the circular value that was coming back to them, and I'm kind of thinking, well, as long as they're not breaking rules, I don't see it being a terrible thing, issuing a stable coin. But then you get more than one, and then you get more than two, and then more than a dozen. And then the government say, hey, that's a really great way to bring fiat into things. So centralize the decentralized thing. And then you get the diluting of the market, and that has begun. So long story short, too late. We were down to 61,200,000 or so. And this has just started picking up. So we saw that it was starting to lose that momentum that I've been talking about. It can't stay here forever. Something is going to have to give at some point. And so it got just low enough in volume to where that started leaking over into the altcoins. Thank you. That was awesome. So at the top of the list, Raven is still going up. And this is starting to not look so crazy anymore. This was just before the Bitcoin Cash hard fork, 11/14, I believe that was, and it's been making its way up ever since. So we're seeing that the volume shift that's taking place has been just enough for things to start recovering where they were before that mid-November debacle. So some of them started overreacting early. There's kind of like second week of November scare about what's going to happen to Bitcoin when the Bitcoin Cash happens. I'm kind of, in retrospect, I'm kind of thinking that some of that may have been intentional. Unfortunately, I don't like to think bad things about people, but sometimes that's the right thing to think. So XVG, I've been talking about it for a while, that it has been kind of in a slump in the 150s, and its value really belongs somewhere around 178 or 89. Well, yeah, there you go. So it's kind of fun to be seeing things coming into a natural flow that they have not been there for a while. As you can see, no more Phoenix here. We cleared all of our positions. We went back in, and then we cleared all of our positions. So here we are. Now, in the browser version, we have some very high positions that are intentionally, strategically placed. Some of them for a little bit more of a balance, a little more profit that we're willing to wait a little bit longer for while we're already circulating the ones. We've cleared the ones that we thought would hold longer than they did, which is obviously a good thing. So we're coming back around, but all of this is happening because of the crazy balance of the volume with Bitcoin. It has actually been holding out as long as it can to stay in that 3,800 range. For 3 weeks, I've been saying I want to see it be able to maintain around 3,850 or so. And it has been struggling to do that. It did as well as 3,822 or so. So I'm concerned that if this is not a big pickup in volume going up, that this is around the time that people might start coming in and selling off. So I don't follow exactly where people are in their futures contracts for shorting. I just know that ideologically I have a problem with it. Later on when Bitcoin is worth $1 gazillion, then that'll be fine. That'll be one of your many options. But, everybody's talking out of one side of their mouths saying, adoption, 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 mass adoption. And talking from the other side saying, well, you got to make money somehow. Let's short it. If it's not holding up its value, then let's get our money on the way down, get our money on the way up. It's okay. That's fine. I mean, if that's your thing, it's not mine. I like to go with the flow of growth. I think that it's ideologically, I think it's a smarter thing to do. So we had a lot of fun with our tried and true updates, going back over our positions. We showed you the exciting thing when this one happened over here. Wait, no, that's 12 hours. I'm so sorry. That may be going too far. Was it the same one? No, okay. So we're still in it. We covered this part. And as you can see, it made it up even higher. So we got some that'll probably not take too much longer to clear. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's very cool to see Ezio. That's really nice for him to pop in, even though he's at work. Really, really smart guy, really nice guy. Glad to have you aboard. And so Poe finally coming into zone. I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, it really belongs more right in the 130-ish range. So it's coming back up. It was having a really tough time down there. Doc coming back up. Singles. XLM, not as much. So you can see it's some of the lower value coins that benefit from this exact volume versus value of Bitcoin. So that's kind of just how this stuff works. So fun, going against the grain a little bit. It does not have enough volume to get out of its lane a little bit there. So thank you so much, everybody that has joined us. Please feel free to type in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on it, and I will answer with my voice, the same one I'm talking with now. Love to see you guys here. Thank you so much for joining us. Archangel Alts. 3:30. Yep. Still got a ways to go here, but that's all right. I believe that there's enough fuel to get us there. So here we are back here. Right around, my goodness, what do you think happened with Bitcoin Cash hard fork? Yes. Around that time in the stable coins. All around the same time. I'm not really anti anything that's going on in the market as long as it's not harmful to the market. Along with money and the potential futures of money, there's always going to be the potential for greed. So, what we want to see is a good, healthy dose of wisdom, and that will stretch you much further than trying to take the shortcuts. So day trading is not about trying to find a way around you're not looking for the trick to do something that is not a legitimate course of action. We're not trying to cut through the lanes to get into the fast lane. We're trying to do something that takes advantage of the volatility as it goes up and down. A lot of people that have a misconception of how economics work don't understand the value to volume, bringing volume to volatility. So there's actually, if there was zero volatility, nobody would ever be able to make any money. That's just kind of how that works. So unfortunately, people are still trying to get in and out of BTT. It's the most risky thing you could do. So as you see, it's starting to lean more and more towards the sell-offs, other than the 698 Bitcoin of people trying to buy in at 20. If you are betting on getting in lower, guess what? It seems like it's going lower. So if you went in 27.89, you probably didn't know how to find me yet, but I was begging you not to go in there. So Waves is still sitting on the low side of things, which is interesting. But this is exactly what Bitcoin just did. So all that means right now is that it's tracking with Bitcoin. So let's see. It's a little bit off, but overall, unless some dramatic thing happens in the market, which is always certainly possible, it seems to me, for the most part, that Waves is going to make its way back up to 7,300-ish. Normally, I would say 7,500, but I don't think that it quite has that right now. OST yo-yo. Yo-yo ma coin. Nope, yo-yo. Okay, so this was in the fours, kind of making its way towards our positions, but that's going to be a not yet. There we go. Where are we looking here? Doesn't even quite need to get up there, but I would say somewhere around 222. So our TNTs haven't quite become holding yet. Like to give it 2 weeks before saying that it's a hodl. Of course, we want everything to clear in a matter of an hour or two, if that's possible. IOST, you poor thing, you're trying so hard. So with that, it made it up to 213 over here, 226, 213. The trend really should have been able to get there around here, around 210, 211. Those shorter positions were getting closer and closer to where we needed them to clear. It got to 205, it got to 206, and then lost volume, so it didn't clear. And then it made it to 205 and then 201, and now it's just not making it. But it is still, if you can see this, still in an upward trend. Nice, right? Here at 189, here at 191, here at 196. So right now, it absolutely positively depends on what Bitcoin does from here. And, you know, not just for my coin, not just for my coins, but other people's choices as well. Now, Raven has been doing a pretty amazing since, it really is kind of hard to see it over here, but since about 222, it's kind of a marker time for some transitions going on. So we actually, I mean, we've been holding this since, let me go back there. I believe it was just before the Bitcoin crash, hard fork. I think I already did this already. Yep, of course. Okay. Yes. So, oh my goodness, look at this. XVG is having a little bit of a spike. Good for it. And you know what? It's kind of cool because it's weighted down pretty heavy up here, but not so much down here. Might actually, oh, it's so high though. I can't tell you not to go in high and then go in high myself. Is this one of those times where I think it'll do a double up? Oh, even it's undecided. That's what that means. Okay, I'm going to test it low. 171. Okay, so we have a little bit of a barrier here in about 10 Bitcoin. Man, that's going to be a fun day when we're loading things up with 10 Bitcoin positions. That could be a combination of any number of other people's positions, by the way. But so as it shallows out around here, there's a chance that somebody is weighing it down here intentionally at 4. Oh, this is such a good position, too. You really only need it to move 1 to make a profit. But I like to, anything that that does this kind of binary movement, you see it go 178, 179, 178, 179. It doesn't always clear all those positions. So I always think it's a good rule if you're below 200 and you see a lot of up and down and up and down and up and down movement, to think in terms of, in this case, it would have to go from 183 to 185, 181 to 183. Make sure that it passes through at least one position, even though you need that 1 point. Don't go for something that you don't think the indicators are saying could make it beyond that extra position. The reason, because it can get stuck in binary, not being able to fully resolve the entire volume of those 2 positions. So if you are here and you are new, please say hello. Feel free to write us, check out our website. Please subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. Check out archangelalts.com. Come and join our community. We are growing organically, ground up level kind of stuff. We've been trading for about 16 months and doing it extensively, intensively for 12, 14, 17, sometimes 20 hours a day. Living, breathing the market, learning ways to improve on a process that, you know, from the beginning, based on instinct, we went our first 1,170 trades without taking any losses. And our first loss was actually breaking even at 0. We decided to take the loss of the fees. And since they were 50% at that time, that was just basically 0.1% of the sell that we took a loss on. So other than that, we've been maintaining 98.7% accuracy and better. That's the lowest that it has been. So kind of happy about that. I never take it for granted, and I never, try to let over enthusiasm over position get a hold of me. So, believe in just exercising wisdom and being patient, even though sometimes you have to go in for the kill very quickly. And, the name of the game is volume and liquidity. Pretty much everything else centers around that. So we're going to take another look at Bitcoin, and then I'm going to go into just kind of talking with you guys about some topics. And if you are breezing through now, come back later, check out the video, because I'm going to be talking through some different topics. So let's see, it's about 6:47 Eastern Standard Time, UTC, I think -4 if I'm going in the right direction. March 3rd, 2019. And we're taking a look at Bitcoin, and it's kind of coming up from the dips, and it is losing about $1 at a time. Okay, so like 16 from about 350. Yeah, so just about 3 hours, it has lost about $10, $12. So the question is, there's about $1 million of recent activity on top of it. Before that, it had made it as low as in the 61 million range. This is about as low as the volume has ever gone since it's been on Binance. And this is just, Binance's sector of the entire industry. So the entire market capitalization. People are calling it around $130 billion market capitalization total. I think that is inflated. I think that we should assume that it's around 80 billion. But we should also assume that the amount of circulation, the amount of Bitcoin that is out there really should provide for about $500-600 billion worth of trading. So if you think of that in a time where Bitcoin has dropped to almost half since November, and then, 6 was already half of the 12 that it had done, and then 12 was down, 40% from 19,000, if I'm doing the math in my head there correctly. There is so much room for growth. It could very easily become $1 trillion industry in a very short time. It's possible. It's possible. BTT heard me kind of dissing it a little bit, and now it's moving back up. So 20 to 22, that made some money. If somebody went in at 20 and they wrote it up and it actually sold at 22, good for you. Very good. Just please be careful there. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Bitcoins tied up in this one coin, and we kind of need them to be spread across the market a little bit. So that's kind of the thing. Definitely got a ways to go with DNT just because it's been sitting at such low volume. I'm kind of expecting to see something happen with Key. I expect to see it be able to pop a little bit more than that, a little bit better than that. You can do it. I know. I believe in you. There's a key to unlock the door. Okay. IOST is just kind of sitting right now, holding around that 110 BTC 24-hour volume. It's like, this is my volume. This is what I got. So over here we can see it's kind of going like several minutes, sometimes in between each trade. That's a lot slower than it was before. It happens. Not everything good is going to happen to every coin all the time. In cash, you poor thing, you've been stuck in the 43-45 loop for a while. We're expecting these 2 and 60 to clear pretty soon. This was intentionally put in as a slightly longer term. We just wanted it to sit there. Whenever it's ready to clear, it'll clear. It'll do its thing. OST, believe that we may have some positions in the browser. Let me take a look real quick. Meanwhile, Phoenix is going up again. Oh man, I just love it. That's awesome. You go, bird. Go, Red Pulse Phoenix. Go, Red Pulse Phoenix. Man, you want to talk about something. I'm watching the trade history of Bitcoin and Red Pulse Phoenix at the same time. And Red Pulse is buying and selling at about double the speed as Bitcoin. That is just so awesome. It's up another 500 Bitcoin 24-hour volume, and that has happened in the past 2 hours. So Phoenix rising, you betcha. I think it's going to continue. Hopefully there's not a preconceived point for a sell-off. But, you never know with these things. So be cautious at the end of that ledge. All right, so really right now, I mean, the question in the market... Oh, yeah, I was going to check OST really quick. So I will do that really quick. I hate it when, like, second me interrupts first me. But, things move so quickly in the market, it's kind of tough not to get excited and move ahead on some stuff. So let's see, yeah. So yeah, we have some in the browser that should sell at 690 whenever that's the time. I kind of expected these to be longer term huddles. If it comes in now, oh my goodness, that's super fantastic. Yeah, the others we have at just about double that. So really, wasn't expecting things to move along this quickly. I'm going to say, I do not think that this is the beginning of the bull run. I think that this is, shifting sand. Okay, imagine if you have two big old piles of sand. One of them is your buys and one of them is your sells. Okay? Here's, bucket of sand on the right, bucket of sand on the left. As you shift back and forth, each grain of sand is like the very last digit of Bitcoin. And you add those up until they become a big old pile. And if you're trying to measure or resolve what the current value is based on how much liquidity there is, the liquidity is the shifting back and forth of sand. And just in the same way that one weighs heavier than the other when they shift back and forth, as it settles in, it's going to spread out. So in order to resolve, for instance, 617, it also kind of matters how much there is of 616 and 619 at the same time. So it's not just the values, but it's the amount of stuff there is at each value. So you might have, let's say, 10 scoops of sand worth of 619 and 4 scoops of sand worth of 621. And so it's constantly trying to resolve and average those things. So for Raven, we need about 4 or 5 points in order to clear a position. I'm just going to, talk about points as, whatever the unit is. We're not going to talk in terms of sats or satoshis. Some people may be familiar with that, others may not. But a point is a single movement, whatever that measurement is. In this case, 616. So that would, if we went to 20, we would make money. We'd probably prefer to go from 616 to 622. It's happening so quickly, it can also drop quickly. So if you're looking at this and you're thinking, yeah, I want to go in, just be careful. Sometimes it's okay to go in on a high position. I wouldn't recommend it until you're really, really, really comfortable with trading because, I've gotten caught in them. Other people have gotten caught in them. I see the stock people not really being able to do the crypto thing. The pace is just a little bit too intense for day trading stock until you've really gotten into like a, ace level stuff. If you're going from old school stock trading, day trading methodology, where your thoughts are to measure things, if they start at 50-50, you do a little bit of the ladder method, a little bit of the swing trade method, where you're saying, here's where my profit and loss should be, here's where my risk versus reward should be, and if there's more reward against the risk, then I'm going to take a chance. And if I'm right, then I take a profit. If I'm wrong, then I have a stop loss that will measure out if I'm only right 7% more of the time, then I will always average out making more from the times that I'm right than what I lost from the times that I was wrong. And if you're under that mentality, you're just going to get, just smacked around horribly in the coin market. I just think that you'll be in and out of positions, winning and losing just so quickly that it's just kind of not worth it. So somebody writes me on Discord and I get 3 different messages, and you can hear exactly how much delay there is between the signal in each. It's hilarious. Let me actually check that out real quick. So I'm going to put up, let's see, we'll do this one. Be right back with you. And put it there. And we should still have sound, yes. Still got sound, yes. Good. He's good, yeah? Yeah, he's good. So now I can check this without interrupting the broadcast. I like keeping up with stuff. You know, it's better to stay on target with whatever is going on than, you know, getting behind in one area than feel like you're juggling everything. So I'm kind of speaking that to the computer too because it's got a little lag. Come on, man. I'm ready. Where are you? So look at Phoenix. I mean, this is just awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Oh my goodness, that was a long time. And is it actually something new? Something blue, something different? Usually the messages should only be set for something that's personal contacts and stuff. Okay, well, I guess I'm not missing anything important over there. So, here we are. Okay, back to where I was. So 327, my goodness, it's just going to keep going. That's just amazing. Definitely beyond my expectations there. You know, I just wanted to see it get through the current cycle. It's just doing really, really well. That's awesome. Phoenix rising. Red polos. Phoenix. So we do actually have some at 375 that I've got set. It was really, I was expecting that to be a much longer play. And some at 444 that, you know, obviously is a much longer play. But, I mean, if I look at how long it's going to take it to get to 444, there's a good chance. Let's see. When exactly? Okay, gotcha. And then before that, I'm just curious, before that wall, so I mean, that was really at its top. Gotcha. But, I mean, its earliest days, for a while there, it was high enough to clear. I believe in you, Phoenix. I believe in you. Red Pulse, Phoenix. Okay. Looking back at Raven again, Ren is starting to come up a little bit. So we needed in the 600s and then one very early back to here. That's really just December. That's pretty amazing. That's like 7 years in stock world. So check that out. Isn't that just glorious? Fantastic. Fantastic. SC is a very small value coin, but has anybody got like an extra 30 Bitcoin so I could put it right there? Okay. Singles. Think Singularity token. I'm going to do a background on each of these. I'm going to cover all of the Binance traded coins. So Steam, you're having a little bit of trouble here. That's interesting. Steam is such an interesting project. I'm really enjoying getting to know some Twitter people that are really into Steam. I think that they like that they're earning from the fruits of their labors, from the fruits of their labors. And that seems to be the idea. You know, I think that what I really think that the value in projects being able to tokenize and grow into mass adoption, I think really it's a stronger move if it's coming from coins that add value on the internet for the everyday person on the internet, as opposed to expecting it to be, you know, everything from, you know, can I buy a burger to, you know, Bob's t-shirt shop. You know, we take Bitcoin. I think that it's really cool, that things can be heading in that direction. Oh my goodness, this is not the coolest thing. It's just, I mean, it's just, we've already sold ours, and I mean, do I go in again? Okay, so we're going to use this as a teaching tool for the principle of thirds, and just wrapping up my idea. Steam, encouraging people to write about whatever their interest is, kind of like what the early days of WordPress, but WordPress has gone more into the template and website building as opposed to the blog community, from my perspective anyway. So we see Steam is really pushing a blog community, Steemit, Steemit. And I'm not endorsing something. I don't get anything other than I want to see it do well on the trading floor here. I'm not endorsing them, and I'm not saying this stuff because somebody's giving me something to do it. Absolutely not. So, principle of thirds. They're going after YouTube with DTube, but I don't want to say that too much on YouTube. But it's proving, theory in blockchain to actually work in real life. I think it's really neat. I think it shows that they do have some hurdles that, blockchain has got to be able to move at the speed of radically advanced servers, server farms, and, those incredible places that are making all this stuff on the internet work. So, encouraged about Steam, encourage you to check out Steam, make your own decisions, all that stuff. So here we are with the principle of thirds, and I'm going in blind. Obviously, this is happening real time, so I don't have anything telling me that I'm right or wrong, just what we have developed as our own process, our own system, and what that shows me as far as what is right in front of me. So I can see right here, this is the first move, this is the second move, this is the third one, and then I'm going to expect a change. So if we see this was, I'm just going to go ahead and measure it in time, 1847, about 27 minutes. So let's assume that if this has been, let's just call this like, 5 minutes in, within 20 minutes or so, we should see what the third position is going to be like. And yes, this is mirroring what Bitcoin is doing. That's what's kind of so amazing about this, is that these principles hold true through the coins that are following Bitcoin and Bitcoin itself, even though they're doing their own patterns in the midst of all of it. Is really kind of incredible. It really could do 83 to 85. XVG could do it. If it puts its mind to it. Almost an overreaction here. This is the opposite of what Bitcoin did right there. Let me show you really quick. So keep your eyes right here. I'll show you the same thing in Bitcoin. Boom. So it's kind of like when this came back up, we kind of had an opposite reaction to that sharp spike, that sharp dip down. Every nice journalist. Yes. Lots of acronyms you can do. EOS. So if you are new, please say hi. If you're not new, say hi anyway. And look in here. Okay. Okay, IOST finally made its way back up. Good for you. Still going to be doing all that Morse code movement there. So we're looking at 2 Bitcoin, 3,338. So 94 is kind of like a little bit of a brick wall there. That's a lot for it to try to clear right now, I'm telling you. But if we do see finally a shift in Bitcoin's volume, then if it goes up or down quickly, we're going to see an overreaction to that, followed by a settling in. The lower that the volume is on some of these coins, I mean, honestly, the quicker they can drop. Raven is, I mean, that's really, really strong for Raven. I think it was Phoenix that we were going to look at the principle of thirds on. Yes, okay. So there we go. Boom, 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 change. Actually took a lot less time than I would have thought. So somewhere in this valley, that's kind of where that was decided. But, you know, he had a strong, well, not really all that strong of a spike there. And as it climbed up, now we're seeing the change. And it may be establishing a new pattern there. It doesn't mean that it can't continue to go up. And it's ironic that we're just now seeing this rise that's happening just as I had this kind of feeling that I needed to do a lesson video on, you know, buy low, sell high, but yeah, do you do it always? And if you have the instinct to really know what you're doing, you can kind of go against the pattern a little bit. You know, like right now, you know, MACD would say, you know, you have this crossover point and then it comes down, and you want to wait till they cross over down before going back in. And you can see, you know, even, you know, the first one has begun right there. I'm still kind of looking at it as, I don't think that it's going to fall off the cliff. I think that this is the first of maybe 3 waves. So also under the principle of thirds, let's say that this from about 320 to 333, we're measuring the height of that value right there. I would never, ever, ever want to go in higher than that bottom third range right there. So let's say from 320 to 333, oh, what's it, 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's break that into like 4s and say that I wouldn't go in any higher than 324-ish. And that's actually kind of where we are right now, isn't it? So what I think we're going to see right now, this is, I mean, I'm just guessing on the spot, but just analyzing what I'm used to the principle of thirds kind of showing, is not going to take long for it to do this crossover here. But I do think the volume is going to adjust. So these two guys are going to come closer together around here. So what time is that? What about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So about 3 more minutes from now, tops. And I think it's going to go back up. So let's say 318, the lowest, and then goes back in and gives room to clear somewhere around 327-ish tops. So absolutely could be wrong. In fact, right now it looks like Bitcoin might be pulling it down a little bit. It's moving faster around the 3816 range. And Bitcoin is at $63,770,000 in 24-hour volume. So this will probably take more like 7 minutes. Gosh, I don't know. Don't go second guessing yourself. Yeah. But I also don't want to sit here and watch paint dry. We're going to come back and see whether it does the 318-ish up to 326 or not. There's really nothing to base that on. I'm just thinking that that's what's going to happen. But, you know, since this has already done a crossover, it didn't do a double up for understandable reasons. Bitcoin is getting into kind of a risky range for people. So it topped at 38.17. It's down to 38.15, and literally every 50-cent change is causing massive response. So we have an indecisive candle in the middle of its stuff. It stopped moving around 318 in the meat of it, but the candle, you know, kind of came down here, so it could have crossed over 317. Yeah, it's going to keep going down for a bit. We'll see if it crosses through that range that I was talking about or not. Well, I mean, you're doing this so quickly now. So this would have been a little bit high. This is definitely the change. So, you know, I mean, our rule of the principle of thirds is to kind of wait that change out and see what it does. But Mr. Big Mouth over here wanting to make predictions. So 1749, 24-hour volume, 1750. Do I hear 55? Going once. Going up. Going. So yeah, I'm just kind of really excited about what Phoenix is doing. It's really cool. Very, very cool. Raven, how you doing? Pretty cool. So it's kind of slowing down in the same, you know, risky range. Bitcoin hitting 38.14. I think people get very concerned very quickly. Hey. So what did that do for this? Yep, just about the same place. Just about. It's not holding up quite as well as Raven, which is interesting because Raven, it's had the extra volume for a while. I want to see if it's actually going up or not. 3,315 Bitcoin in 24-hour volume. So your volume is linked to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's volume is linked to what it's trading against. The only thing bigger than it would be the dollar representing stability. So it doesn't really matter, how huge or small the stablecoin is if it's locked accurately and confidently to the dollar. Think of it in terms of the stablecoins. What does your fiat equal in dollars and cents? But do the dollars have enough cents? That's the question. All right, so looking at top volume, my goodness, really? Let's look at the whole market and not just my favorites list. Is that really how low it's gotten? Wow. That is pretty darn impressive. So BNB is actually topping out over Ethereum. Ethereum is at 1/4 of the volume that we've seen it over the past week. FET being the absolute most brand newest of things is here. Let's see how long it's been since it listed. Not long. Yeah. So like literally at the end of the month. So this part doesn't count. I would say this is the first real peak. Kind of dropped quickly in that range. Interesting. Wow, the volume's been low on that too. No wonder you're doing so good, Raven. This is really exciting. So Raven could be coming into position there if it does what it's doing. Continue, por favor. And let me see on the browser where we stand with Raven. Pretty sure that I set things pretty high because we can afford to wait for a higher position on that. Just based on the way that I've averaged some of our stuff out. I'm actually going to teach on that method because it's worked really well for us. It's been a really smart move to give us a little bit of extra liquidity on positions that I'm confident in. So yeah, we have a high position, and this really, it's a big position. I don't expect for it to clear for a while, but now that I'm looking at what Raven is doing now, and it's kind of, my goodness, it's almost like bookending, its initial launch range. This is pretty awesome. We've literally watched it, going from the 200s, I think. Yeah, almost as low as 250. So 255, 750. We could see it. I could see it dipping and then continuing up. That would be really, really sweet. That'd be awesome. So it's not stopping. It's not even slowing down. So don't. Keep going. I love it when you have this strong up and you're like, okay, well, boom, boom, boom. This is, on the principle of thirds. This is the third one. So there's likely a shift, once it reaches that. It doesn't mean that the next three couldn't continue up. I hope that they do. I just think that would be super amazingly cool. How is ADA doing? It's not real hip on its volume right now. Nope, it's very narrow range. So it'll come back around in its own time too. So Ion, we've got a lot that we're waiting to clear. It's kind of looking good. Don't really expect it for another couple of weeks, honestly, but it depends on what Bitcoin feels like doing right this very second. So we're hovering around, not completely wrong in saying 318, it's right there. So usually it passes 3 before it crosses. It looks like we're just about finishing up with that process. So please be very, very, very careful with where Raven is. It's at 631. That is incredibly high for it. If it doesn't go down into the bottom third of that spike, I would say, even looking at it over a week's time, if it doesn't come below 530, 540-ish, it might be safe to re-enter there. If you're like extremely short term and you're feeling risky, then make your own decision. Let us know how it went. Please use this as a resource to ask us about your favorite tokens, about your favorite coins. Doing this very consistently, trading pretty much around the clock. I sleep around the schedule. I don't sleep around. I sleep around the schedule of whatever is happening in the market. I keep it in front of me at all times. This is what I do. So, very cool. Yes, I'm kind of testing positions right now. I've piqued my own interest about where that was going in. I'm going to weigh it down here and watch and see what happens. This is really cool because, I mean, the value of each of these positions, as much volume as it is doing, is really kind of nothing compared to the amount of growth that it's got. I would expect to see more 6,532 Bitcoins per position kind of packing in there. Bitcoin is holding at that extra 800 or 700,000 volume that it's got and is able to start climbing some more. So this is really, don't want to overuse saying things are unprecedented. But, I mean, it doesn't really sit below 60 million. And it came very close to that line. And when it does come there, there is this kind of shift of power that happens. But rarely is it able to go up this much with that little volume. So I'm expecting, what I expected to see in a change in direction, unfortunately, was, if it wasn't being pumped at all, that it was just going to keep dying out, a little bit concerned around here. And then, of course, around here. Whenever you see this arch shape, this rainbow shape, instead of hard spikes, it's a weakening of positions. And the sharper it is down, the less gradual that it is on the way down, the more severe a change that represents. So, my goodness, this is just really, really cool to see. Really risky and dangerous and hard to call. So, I mean, seriously, be careful if you're trying to get in up there. Same thing goes for Raven. I mean, I still see, for Phoenix, Red Pulse, Phoenix. This does not look like a support line to me yet. Other people would be calling that as a support line. Because of what I see it doing with the volume. I think it's going to cross over the volume. Guess where at exactly 318? That's what I thought was going to happen over here. I thought that, honestly, I thought that they were going to meet here. So it was sitting below the volume. So it took a few minutes longer. And that's actually funny because I thought it would do what it did here, right here. But instead it kept going down. And now it's crossing over exactly where my instinct was telling me that it would cross over. At exactly the same time that I thought it would take. So, I didn't think it would go lower than 318 in order to meet up with the volume. But I did think it would be exactly this length of time. You can go back and see it for yourself if you'd like to. So we've gone up another 10. Another 10 on Raven. Unprecedented. Unbelievable. Awesome. Okay. Steam, please, come on, man, get in the game. That would be really cool. I mean, we have much more at stake in IOST and Raven in the two different accounts. But I'm really rooting on you. Rooting for you. Rooting at you. Rooting in our general direction. I am hope for you to be going good, yes. It is good for you to do. Yes. So, okay. I admit it, I'm checking out my followers on Twitter. Oh, I'm not a Twitterer, but I am. So, starting to get a little interesting. I'm finding lots of coin-centric people, crypto-minded fellows. Very, very, very interesting people. Some of the, what I would call thought leaders, and I'm, trying to think of myself somewhere in that position. Done a lot of studying, done a lot of research, done a lot of interest taken a lot of interest in this sector, and I got a lot to say. Okay, there are a lot of people that have a lot of interesting ideas, a lot of interesting things to say, but I'm seeing that there's a huge gap in understanding of politics. The politics that go into what Bitcoin is going to do to change the world, and equally in the area of economics, which you would think that if you are a cryptocurrency project, the most important thing you need to understand is what its impact is going to be on the global economies. So I am going to try to somehow find a way to have the time to talk about those on independent videos. I'll make most of that stuff free. Some of the more advanced stuff will be for our paid membership. It's $99 reoccurring a month, and that comes down to roughly $3 a day in value. So not in value, it's much more valuable than that. Come on. No, I hope that you find a value in that. But we're always going to make it worth people's time that join for free. We want to see you be a part of the community, and then if you're getting a value, a monetary value out of being a part of our community, then you should really join the money side of things. Join the reoccurring $99 a month. We will make sure that you get your value from that. Extra Q&A, extra deeper in the news, things that will really stand for your fundamental analysis and your technical analysis. You can trade right along with us, follow our moves, and especially in the times where the market is safer to make new. Okay. 666 fast, passed through to 669. And is that really where it's going to market? I don't know. I wish I knew. This is just really, I absolutely love this. Don't stop. Don't stop me. Okay, never mind. So we have boom, boom, boom. And this may be the transition, the changeover. And it is in response to Bitcoin's topping off around 38.24. So it's very interesting. I mean, I've been, saying really for several weeks straight that I would like to see Bitcoin be able to maintain at its average around 38.50. In fact, I'm going to keep going with this for a little while. So I am going to send a link to our Twitter tutorials. There's an idea. Okay. I really need a lighted keyboard, I'm realizing. I've got one for the laptop, but I definitely need one for typing. I've got two keyboards set up over here so that I can reach. But maybe I'll get like a tiny little light there. So I'm literally just going to put a link to this. And people like looking at things, so I'm going to add a picture. Maybe I'll do our wing logo this time. When in doubt, keep it simple, right? Okay, so it's really holding in that 668 range. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so I'm testing my Twitter link while watching this. Make sure it goes where we are right now. And it does. And I shall close this extra window and close Twitter so I'm not distracted. Yeah, this is not one of those things where you want to get distracted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, guys, oh my gosh. OM goodness. 697. I mean, it's, 25 more or so. Okay, right now closer to 30. This is really awesome. Okay. If it doesn't get there now, I mean, it's, permanently in range for at least a couple of weeks. And, okay, so Phoenix is starting to weaken. Not what I expected to see. But the volume is still meeting the middle of our Bollinger Bands, which we're going to study all of the indicators, all the chart stuff very soon. I gotta see that it is worthwhile to the people that are following us. So I need to hear a little bit more feedback in order to know exactly where to allot my time. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, should still have audio. That should be good. So checking our members group, see if I'm missing any questions over here. Don't want to leave anybody stranded. Oh, really, Phoenix? Come on, man. You can do it. So when we hit our third, and our principal thirds, when we hit our third and there was the change, there's the change. Okay, so it's establishing a new thing. It looks like it might go down, down, down. And then, of course, that could be a new position. If it's staying over 3, that'll be awesome. If not, I've been very impressed with you. But I did kind of think it was going to do that like 318 to 322 range. 326. All right, so I'm not missing anything. So you guys are missing out on this stuff if you're not here. And I'm, not talking to anybody right now, so obviously you're not here. But would really love to see you guys join us. Email, chat, comment, give us a thumbs up, join Archangel Alts. So as you can see, exciting history in the making here with Raven Coin. In fact, let me do something really cool and bring a little visual in here. So it looks like Ravencoin has done a wallet update recently. That's pretty cool. 674. Awesome. Okay, I'm almost there. So, brief moment here. Nice. There's our trading room. Gordon, Freeman, and Kakashi. Hey Zio, welcome back, man. Good to see you. Check this out. This is just amazing. Look, 697. So I'm actually going to commemorate this moment. Into this and boom! Ravencoin. Ah, Ravencoin is the coiniest raven. So you should see that Hall of Mirrors complete. And now back to Binance to see. Oh my goodness. Oh, how fantastic is that? Guys, we cleared our Raven coin right as the bird was on the screen. You know what that means? You know what that means. You got to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing. What is the right thing? You know. I have to tell you, you know. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Still learning my way around this stuff. I've got this stuff pinned. So if I go to where our profits are, this should be the right thing here. And you gotta celebrate when you clear. You gotta ring the cowbell. Can you hear that? Woo! So you'll actually have to let me know if you actually heard the cowbell, because I'm not gonna quit until I know that the cowbell rang. Ezio, check this out. It broke 700. 700. On Raven, we were watching it and feeling silly at 290 something. Okay, did not hear the cowbell. Okay, I know what I need to do. Hold on. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's so cool. I love the fact that the Raven was on the screen when we cleared it. And I'm also going to take a snapshot so you can see our next position. Got to celebrate these things. It's very important to celebrate these things. They're milestones. Hey, there's another slogan. Taking millstones and turning them into milestones. Or something. Just avoid the kidney stones at all costs. So yeah, we have a 799 that I had set as like one of our few intentional long-term hodls. And oh my gosh, if this could go through 800, that would be just amazing. And I mean, you know, if you're watching this, I mean, I guess you could go in on some crazy high position. I'm not going to tell you to do that, though. But Raven, I mean, now that it's picked up this much, it's going for 3,800 BTC, 24-hour volume. Unbelievable. So, okay, we still have to ring the cowbell. Woohoo! And the one that cracks me up. Okay. Okay, so tell me, Ezio, did you hear it that time? Did you, huh? More cowbell! So we're at 741. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Okay, so I don't need to get in there. In fact, okay, that's what I'm talking about. You're experiencing for the first time real, like, old school gangster style liquidity happening right here. This is what I'm talking about. You could put something in at 710 and it'll run down there, grab it, and it'll still be able to get up and going. Bitcoin is sitting at 3822, which is still a little bit remarkable. Its volume is starting to pick up, which may actually stop the flow. We may not see this get beyond 745. I want it to do that. I think it would be really, really cool. It doesn't always ask my opinion before doing, you know, what it's going to do. I don't know why, but, you know. Cowbell. So we've got a 375 in Phoenix that honestly I thought was going to take a few months to get there. We've already cleared out all of our others. I've got to add Raven to the list in our group too. We're doing really well here. So yeah, Ezio, you were asking about what's been going on in the market today. We hit that balance where the volume in Bitcoin dropped from 233 million throughout the week down to 113, and then down to 80, then 70, and then 60. And I've never seen it on Binance, as far as I can ever remember, bottoming out lower than the $60 million 24-hour volume mark. It's a perfect snapshot of the healthiest part of the market. If you kind of slice things down and look at the good, the bad, the ugly, Binance is kind of like a perfect picture, a smaller picture of what's happening overall. And they're calling the market cap somewhere in the, like, I want to say $130 billion range. But I think that it's inflated. I think that the real value right now is around 80 billion. There is a lot of data going into that, but I'm always just kind of mentally rounding things off of, if Bitcoin is about 52% of the market, if I'm guessing right. Ethereum dropping from 12,000 BTC, I think it was at 17,000 BTC at one point throughout the week, down to 4,000 and 5,000 BTC, where BNB coin, Binance's coin, was actually higher than Ethereum and XRP and poor Litecoin. Oh, Litecoin, you try. I know you do. So yeah, that balance between Bitcoin's drop in volume had a lot to do with what's going on now. It seeped into kind of triggering some of those lower volume coins, altcoins. You had the 200s and 300s. Not so much higher than that in the NAV range, and not so much lower than that. But we saw Key popped a little bit, MFT popped a little bit, PO popped a lot. There's one other that was a lot. Not as much Funcoin, which we have a lot invested in that one, so I'd like to see that change. Waves is kind of stalled out in the 6900s, but it's going to hit 7300 again. I mean, if anybody is looking for tips on anything, but you do your own research, you make your own decisions. I am not your financial advisor. I'm just making recommendations on finances. No plaque on the wall, no special certificate, but I will have a lot of Bitcoin. So if that matters to anybody, then woohoo! Days like this kind of make those long stretches a little bit more worth the time. TNT's got to come back around again. It's in too high a cost, too low a volume to get picked up by the crazy that's happening from Bitcoin. And oh, you poor thing, IOST. Why do I care so much? Why do I care so much? I don't know. But I do, and so I want to see you do good. Yes, very good. Datacoin, that's all right. Just wait it out a little bit. I would not, just overall, I think that once it breaks 3,400, it's always kind of in risky land. Didn't want to think that after this, but I mean, honestly, that's true. It's kind of going to average around to the 3,400 range. I'm just kind of guessing out loud at the ones that affect our buddy Ezio the most. He's really, really, really good at trading Theta and ADA and ARC, if I remember correctly. Am I becoming like that Rain Man numbers guy? Yeah, I'm very good with numbers. I'm very good with numbers. I like numbers. Very good with them. 700. Okay, so are we coming back down to 667? Is that what's going on here? I'm going to just have fun and test it at here. I want to see, well, I'm going to watch where it is when I do that, because this is moving quick. Okay, yeah, towards the bottom of the list. I kind of had a feeling. And Bitcoin just lost its spike and turned into more of a slope, more of an arch. So that's going to drop, and I don't know if that is helpful to Raven or harmful. Let's see just how close it's following that. It's kind of, this is the arch a little bit, but it's actually not as bad as Bitcoin's arch. So yeah, I'm curious to test what happens down here in the 550 range. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to test it in the 599 range. And 611. And that's as close as I'm going right now. This stuff changes so quickly, it's really exciting. Ezio, I like your list. Those are, I mean, other than, I've gotten in and out of XRP a few times, but I don't like following that pattern as much as some others. If you got an eye for it, it's obviously a really smart move. 700 still holding. I mean, that's about 30 higher than I thought it would be holding. So, oh my gosh, it's got this like kind of nice little swoop happening here. Man, if I were a betting man, I'd probably go in with Raven, but I'm playing it safe. I will always lean more towards the safe side of things until something goes absolutely insane, and then I'm a maniac on the really fast trades. Just haven't had any opportunities to do that for a really long time. So Ezio was talking about Theta, ARC, EOS, XRP, TNT, ONT, OST, IOST. Really, really, really good list. Okay, here's the part that I'm curious about. So Bitcoin is trying to hold still around 3820. If it had stayed over $80 million in volume, then I think that it probably could have gotten back up above the 38.35 range and then maintained an average up at 38.50. I don't think that it's going to be able to do that, but we've seen it gain another almost $1 million in volume in the past 20 minutes. So curious to see what that happens. But I'm actually more impressed with the extra 1,000 that Raven just gained in BTC volume. Pretty amazing. And Phoenix, I think that 326 might be all it's got. I mean, I can't even believe that it, you know, 2 different times now when it crossed the 300, that was just super fantastic. XVG, that would have been nice to catch from the 160 to the 178 range. Okay, we're going above 7 again. Nice. All right, so I'm going to keep an eye on that, but let me see. I'm not keeping an eye on that, but I'm keeping an eye on that, comma space, but, comma space. I want to check out Ezio's list. He's here. And this is what I do. So I'm actually going to include ADA because it's sitting a little flat. And the volume's really low. ADA, I would kind of, well, it's not in the right range. It's actually a little bit too valuable to be one of the ones that is picking up with this pump. If Bitcoin gets over 100 million in its dollars in Tether in 24-hour volume, then you might see ADA kick in there. TNT, I'm going back to. I really like TNT. I don't have a reason for it yet. Hopefully, when I go and research deeper again about the actual team behind it, I won't be disappointed. But extremely low volume. We needed about 100 up to clear everything. Well, no, that's not true. About 65 up. Gosh, on a day like this, it could happen. It's really in the 200, 250 range value that things are popping the most right now. Let me go to OST for you, man. Oh, ST. I see. Okay, and Raven is still holding around 700. Nice. Doing very similar patterns to each other, which is always expected. The angle just changed on Bitcoin's up. And, you know, like I've always kind of been talking about, I mean, I'm not going to go drawing like all of the different football plays on the screen until you can't see the players anymore. I'm not drawing like lots of the support lines, the Fibonacci and the triangles and, you know, showing you the support and resistance and a million different things. And then you're like, wait, what are we trading again, man? What was that we were doing? So, we know how to look for the patterns, and you can find 20 other people that'll draw the exact same things, and then kind of hide behind them and give these predictions that are 3 different ways. I think it's going to go down. If it doesn't go down, I think it's going to go up. But if it doesn't go down or up, I think it might maintain this range between the support and the resistance. I think you're right. You're always right. But this is going to continue to fall a little bit in this range. Let's look at a little bit longer time for OST. Then actually I need to go, you know what? I know I'm forgetting the word now. This did our pattern, so this did exactly what we were saying it would do. It crossed at let me find the right place. I don't want to put out fake information here. Am I thinking the right thing? 318, and it went down to this is very strange because that's not the way that I remember it doing. Was it right here? No, I mean it was at 317. I mean we talked about it. That's what we talked about. Was it over here? Has it been that long? No. Was it over here? Has it been that long? No. This one right here? Maybe it was this one right here at the 5-minute? Well, anyway, it crossed over the range that we were talking about. I just wanted to make sure and cover that. So it would have cleared that position if you were paying attention. I, on the other hand, did not pay attention because I've been in such awe over the 700 plus on Raven. A Raven lunatic. Okay, so now we want to look at, well, let's finish looking at IOST. I don't think that's going to maintain up there. I think it's going to come down a little bit. Depending on what you need to clear. If what is happening right now continues, then tomorrow might actually end up being the day that people talk about. It could really shift for the better. I do not think that we should call this a bull run. I don't, because Bitcoin is super, super low on volume. And the bulls have got to start from, some of the big 3, some of the big 10. The Bitcoin meets XRP meets Litecoin, Ethereum, maybe even eClassic, I don't know. Bitcoin Cash, ABC. So, from Coinbase's perspective, the official Bitcoin Cash, Tron, some of these others. If you see, all of them lining up with Bitcoin, then that could be a big deal. All right, Bitcoin had like a major sell-off at 38.24. It was the right crossover to where it was able to just cover hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of positions in a few seconds. And now it's hitting 38.28. So we're going to see very, very, very quickly how it's affecting some of this other stuff. Going to now go to, wait a second. Holy Toledo, isn't that awesome? Okay, so the answer is that Phoenix is in sync with Bitcoin. And that is a pretty darn big deal because Bitcoin is going absolutely insane right now. 65 million on Bitcoin. And Phoenix is spiking like crazy. We may actually see our 375 may actually clear. It's within 20 points now. That would be incredible. Okay, let me take a look at EOS while this is going on. Let's see. Do I have it in the right order? I think so, yes. So yeah, all these guys are sitting a little flat right now, but the main reason is that they're just in the wrong volume. They're in the wrong value sector against Bitcoin. When Bitcoin hits a certain position up or down at a certain amount of volume, more, it's going to shift over into these larger value coins falling into sync. So it's just a little bit weird that way. But yeah, EOS, what I see here is this right here is a repeat of this over here, okay? So we kind of have a mirroring that took place. Just calling it blind, but you should be able to see the same stuff anywhere, even if you didn't prepare for it. Not that I've got anything against preparing, but if people want to know whether you can do something or not, then you need to be able to do it because you got the skill to do it. So when I say mirroring, it went up here and went down here, so it's really looking for average around here. And just without giving it too much thought, this was above the average, but you really wouldn't know that until it was done falling. So what does it come back to? This would probably have been up here if it wasn't for Bitcoin changing in that time. So, it's out of sync with Bitcoin. It's not at the right value for it to do what Bitcoin is doing right now. So instead of being in the 95, 97 range, it's in the 93s. And I'm not going to hide behind drawing any triangles to tell you that. But I think that it can, depending on what Bitcoin is going to keep doing. If Bitcoin stays under $70 million in 24-hour volume, my guess is that it may peak out around 38.40. So, mark that down now if you're interested in whether I'm accurate about stuff. Some people are into that sort of thing. Let's see how we're doing over here on Raven real quick. But yeah, so I'm a little bit concerned about what EOS is going to do over the long term. People have been kind of ragging on, they take turns picking different coins that have a problem with, I've noticed. Those people over there with their they-like positions on things. I don't want to say, watch out for the cliff, but as this thins out, it's going to hit a point where it either pops or drops. Oh, hey, I didn't even plan that. It sounds like a rap move. Break dancing, that's popping and locking, but popping and dropping is very hip trade people. They have a dance, you see. It's not true. I don't know anything about that. Oh, in IOSD, you're just beneath the range. You don't have enough volume to do the thing. So even though you're at the right value, you're just not benefiting from any of this, you poor thing. TNT, I really like. It's not as weak as it could be. I'm kind of thinking, gosh, how long do I think it would take to do that? Could be interesting in the next 2 days or so, but I don't think so. I want to be optimistic, but gotta see what it is that Bitcoin is thinking before you can really tell what its effect is going to be. So right now we're just living in the range that we're living in. Yep. So OST, ONT. We'll do both of those just real quick. That's quite a spike. Be careful anything above like 2, 3. So yeah, there's really no way to know whether the down continues. It's going to depend on what Bitcoin does, and there's people more powerful than yourself and myself, who can kind of move things in a drastic direction. So be on the lookout. OST might be able to continue going up some. Anything above like 5.8, what is it? No. I would say just on the safe side, anything above 589 might be dangerous to get into, but keep an eye on it. So don't stop there, seriously, if you're gonna go up to 359, you might as well just go for 400, right? Yeah, Ezio, the spike in Theta, is that the one you're talking about? Did it clear some of your high position? Or did it clear all the high position? So you should be able to hear me now. Hopefully I didn't have that on for a while. Oh my goodness, check this out. Okay, so while you're looking at that, Ezio, this is for you. Woohoo! Sold Theta. Theta, Beta. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, us Americans, we are crazy when it comes to our weekends. I guess, Europe gets an extra nap every single day, so we just kind of like completely lose it on the weekends. But one thing that I am absolutely certain about is that if there is any kind of rule out there for what Bitcoin does, it's guaranteed to break it at least once a day. So today has been absolutely insane for a Sunday, but whenever it's done doing this, I mean, oh my gosh, it's not even 8 Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time yet. So 370. So you listened to me, Phoenix? See, I mean, is it like plants? I mean, if you talk to the coins, do they respond nicely? Do they grow better? I mean, it kind of sort of doesn't make any sense, but we're all connected and we're all stars, dust, and, I don't know whose voice this is supposed to be, but it's kind of fun. But no, I don't think I have some kind of cosmic connection to Phoenix. I just think it's cool that it's going up. So our browser position for Phoenix, the next one would be 375. So did we not hit 370? Wow. And then 444 would be the next one that I've chosen. I leveraged some new positions against old positions and decided to just go ahead and, if it clears those older ones, then they'll be at a really good profit. So, I mean, I really didn't expect it to be within that range this early in the game at all. But since you're there, you might as well go ahead and finish it for us. So, pretty please. Pretty please. Gotta look at Raven again. Must be done. Okay, so in the 650s, and I don't think we went in on any of it, did we? No. We still have a tiny bit of dust there. Thousands, 100s, tens, dollars. So we have about 30 cents in imaginary Bitcoin money. So now, is this the fall of Raven? Or is this a good dip? That's the big question. So whenever you see a position that, it was down here, it comes up here, and now it's like in that kind of halfway point, man, is that a tricky place. That's a tricky place to guess. So we're looking at volume. These were kind of the pre-trimmers. This could have kind of told us that this could happen. It's never, ever, 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 ever a guarantee, though. So the volume was pretty healthy here and here, and this was, all on the same day. Okay. Interesting. This has been a pretty darn good trading day. But yesterday was a really good trading day. But the day before that was a really good trading day. I'm having a really tough time keeping up with this, man. I've got these lesson plans that I'm working on, and I've still got to get another stream going. 7:45 on Raven. And let me see again. Yeah, so our highest position, I really was thinking it would be like another 2 months possibly, but I wanted to sell the largest amount of our trades that had accumulated. I just raised them up to $7.99, so it would be really worth it whenever they cleared. We have enough circulation to keep doing our trade sizes for a while now, so I wasn't really concerned about selling it right away. But now that it's getting that close to it, it's like, do it now, come on. So $7.99 from $7.45 when, it just did $5.90, $6.90. I mean, that's just brilliant. That's awesome. Another 50 or so and it would be there. In cash, poor thing, having troubles. So you can kind of see anything below that 100s value right around there. If the Bitcoin, if the 24-hour volume isn't high enough, then you can see it's just not benefiting from this at all. Those lower digit coins are just getting hurt. Singles is just within that window. So, even though it doesn't really have enough volume, it's kind of getting up there in its volume. Steam is doing its own thing. It's just Hi, I'm Steam. Look at my numbers. Gonna cover this soon. I think I'm gonna cover IOST, and then Raven, and then Red Pulse Phoenix, and then Steam. I think that's gonna be my order for coins to cover, because I think that they're proving that people are going to be a little bit more interested in them now. So Raven is kind of finishing off its peak. I think that it is saying, you know what, I flew as high as I needed to fly. So now my eyes are back on Red Pulse Phoenix. And it is at 350-ish, and our highest browser position will be 375. And then 444. So there's still a chance that it might break higher than that level. We shall see. We don't really even have a lot on those. It's just exciting. So. Make sure I have the right setting here. Yes, I do. Yes. It is very good, yes. So. XRP. Yeah, I wouldn't think that it would be going very far out of its range. 8162, I kind of like to see 82. Yeah, it's not doing a wide enough range for me to be comfortable with, because if it's not doing it within certain cycles, things can change so quickly. But I mean, this is a pretty repeatable pattern happening here from that whole range, and then restarting right here at about on the 25th. So I still expect it to be the end of last month, because, you know, they cut us short 2 to 3 days. Not real thrilled about February when, you know, you're launching on a month that you actually don't get as many days in. It just kind of seems a little cruel. So Phoenix may have reached its peak too. It's like, you know, listen, man, if the Ravens ain't gonna fly, then why should Phoenix fly? Why? Oh, why can't I? Ezio, yeah, I agree. The 8,000s, you know, I kind of like 8,100 to 8,350-ish range is fairly safe. Now, I don't know really what its cycle is like. I'm going to have to get to know it better, because it's just, I mean, enough people are curious about what to do that I kind of need to be able to answer those questions. But I mean, when it comes to my own personal trading, I have to go with what feels in my gut like the right safety range. But I want to be able to answer questions on XRP. Everybody's wondering, you know, how to feel about it. So hopefully the stream is still working pretty good, working well. I'm getting a little bit of lag on my sidecar laptop, to be expected. Dang, 10x again. Guaranteed 10x, 100x, 1000x a day. Just keep trading XRP over and over and over and over and over again. So check out Fuel all of a sudden. Sweet. So it's like, you know, I'm doing patterns. Hey! Hey! So that was, what, 7:30-ish? So while we're over here checking all this other stuff out, Fuel's like, shh, I'm going to go up. So that's a pretty big deal. And it's still less than 500 BTC 24-hour volume. That's a pretty big deal. Crazy. theta is making me think. It's like, but I flew too high. Yep. So once it got beyond that spike, it's kind of in like danger zone. Anything above like 3,500 is tricky. So if we stay at that like 33, 35 and then watch it, yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of getting into like lifetime average on Binance. But, I mean, everything is having these crazy spikes right now if it's in the right range. We're up another 2 million in volume on Bitcoin. So this may be like a climb to the right place to drop for a short. I hope that that's not the case. I would much rather see it that is actually like a gradual up and it's trying to make it to that 3850 that I think is where people need to see a steady volume. People eventually are going to look at something sort of steady in Bitcoin as being a good deal. I think we all know that when it comes to trading, you need some kind of volatility. You know, I mean, if nothing ever goes up and down and everything's stable all the time, then, you know, only the people that have $1 billion to invest in everything will see a difference. You know, oh, it went up 30 cents. We made $100 million off of our 30 cents. No. But yeah, I mean, this definitely is more of like a confidence building kind of shape. XRP is just, it's getting smaller and smaller. So if it continues doing this slight down, it maybe, yeah, when it hits the 8,000 range, you're either going to see a drop or a spike for sure. And not one of those people is like, it's either going to stay the same or it's going to go up or it's going to go down. Absolutely, no question. No, seriously, we see a cycling down kind of happening here. So when it hits that point, you know, maybe several hours in, if XRP is a really big deal to you, then I would take a look at whether Bitcoin has gotten above $70 million in its rotation, and then just kind of watch, you know, highly recommend, if you're trading on a laptop, use a tablet or a smartphone as a sidecar to watch Bitcoin. If you're using a desktop, you could use a laptop, etc., 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 etc. But you want to get in a habit of kind of seeing how things synchronize with each other. In this case, with Bitcoin, I think that that's the right way to go. We actually tried splitting up our strategies at one point, trading Bitcoin back and forth with Tether, and, you know, watching the $20, $30, $40 moves, taking advantage of that stuff, and then trading Bitcoin against the alts with the other part. And just found that it's not that it can't work, is that it is distracting if you need like ultra high concentration to be able to do, you know, kind of zen-like moves. It's got to be a better word for that. Being in the zone. Yes, we call it being in the room. Roomba. Okay. OST is doing pretty good. So Phoenix, I think that you are done with your first spike. Does that mean that in the 340 range there might be like 320 to 340? It's very possible. Looking at Everybody Loves Raven, kind of the same thing going on there. 745 was your cutoff point. So will you kind of get in the 630 to 670 range, possibly? Maybe so. TNT. Let's see. I don't know. It needs to hit about 415 before it's, you know, convincing movement. It's a little bit too high here, a little bit too low there. If it was at about 150 BTC and coming in at about 370, then it would probably start to sync with Bitcoin again. I don't really have a reason that I would know that. It's just, I guess from just watching it, having a little bit of that, a little bit of instinct, a little bit of numbers. Just if I actually try to crunch the numbers, I won't get it right. But if I just sense that's where the numbers are, then that tends to kind of be where it is. So definitely like numbers. Yeah, definitely like numbers. Numbers are good. So very cool with fuel. Didn't mean to rhyme. Not trying to be, Mr. 337. And got a pretty good amount of fuel. And it's not, just outlandish amount, but it'll be really healthy for us to clear those. So it's getting on a little past 8. Looks like Phoenix may be able to continue. I mean, this is really interesting. Boom, 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 and then the change. Darcy blow. So instead of having, this upward thing spike, it's kind of creating a little bit of this inverse arch. A little bit of a smiley face, a little bit of a slope there. Just want to see what it's going to do next. I'm going to guess probably about 10 minutes to resolve something slightly lower and then come back up. So at about 8:13, about 8:25 or so, we'll see what it does. So it looks like Bitcoin is kind of doing this, that's pretty much all we're doing is just tracking what Bitcoin does. But, some of the things lost sync big time. Still only at 66 million in 24-hour volume on Bitcoin. Don't you love that we're in this industry that, the public sector is still playing the, we're going to poo-poo the whole cryptocurrency thing. They're all a bunch of lunatics and there's way too much volatility and yada, yada, yada. Understood. I hear you. But I'm just wondering, I love the fact that you can look at one day's amount of volume, trading basically $30 million back and forth. And, that's something tiny, puny to the trillion in options and stuff that are being traded on the market. But you know what? We're doing 60 million in a day when you guys are sleeping. So take that, stock market. He's stock market people. Absolutely nothing wrong with trading on the market if that's what you're good at. 207, what kind of volatility do we have here? 209, 211. Yeah, easy. It's really interesting to see the things that are connected with each other and kind of go in similar circles with TNT and ARC. I don't know why I have, a fondness towards trading TNT. It just usually has that nice balance of even when it's low, it's got just enough of that rotation to kind of, be right about the positions. So it's pretty much what it's about. Pretty much. Let's see. Watching to see what Lin's going to do. I mean, it's really low volume, but I mean, this stuff can pick up at any time. It's repositioning some stuff. So I see the kind of volatility that I like. See what happens at 208. Yep, interesting. Might actually try going in here. We'll see what it does when it comes back down. What was the one that we were looking at just a second ago? I was going to see what it does when we come back around. Was it fun or fuel? Probably fuel. I'm thinking fuel. Let's see. Yeah, okay, that's the one. This was that little hang in Bitcoin. So thinking that it was going to come down and then cross back over, and we're going to say look at it at 825. I don't think you'll have any problem clearing TNT at I mean, it should be able to hit 415 pretty easy. Come on now. La 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 la. Okay. So we were looking at Lind? Yes. So everything's kind of hovering exactly where Bitcoin is. I think that I'm going to give this a little bit of time to transition, and I'll be interested whether fuel does this kind of like 229 and then 330, 229 to 333. Oh, I think that it's time for me to reboot myself on my computer. So I'm actually going to give this a little bit of time, see what the market does. I've got to do a little bit of membership stuff, and I promised one other video that I was going to add today. What was that one? Yes, going from the self-conscious to the subconscious. Talking a little bit about concentration and being able to get in the zone, get in the trading zone, get in the mental place. We call it the room. So getting in the room is like a mental thing for just stopping thinking so much and just being in the right place to trade. So I'll see if I can get that stuff done. Ezio, as always, brother, it's good to see you, man. Hope those positions do well. Let's hope for some other like really crazy cool spikes. It's always fun when we're surprised by that stuff. So I'll be around sometime soon again. And for now, if I miss anything, please always feel free to hit me in the group. If you are a stranger to all this stuff, please subscribe, ring the bell, comment, thumbs up, go to Archangel Alts, join our group. You can join for free. Even if you decide to do the paid group, it's free for the first 3 days, so you can check it out, come and trade with us. We'll do lots of fun trading stuff, advanced stuff, talk about charts, talk about indicators, talking about all of these things. All right, guys, for now, God bless you. Archangel Alts out.